Brooklyn, the most populous borough of New York City, has always been known for its culture, diversity, and deep history. From its iconic brownstones and vibrant music scene to its role in shaping hip-hop and street culture, Brooklyn represents both creativity and resilience. Every neighborhood tells its own story, from the old immigrant communities to the new waves of gentrification reshaping the borough today. But behind the growth and fame lies a darker side. Brooklyn has long struggled with poverty, gang activity, and violent crime, especially in areas like Brownsville, East New York, and parts of Bed-Stuy. In the late 20th century, these neighborhoods became synonymous with shootings, drug wars, and police tension. While times have changed and crime has dropped, the echoes of Brooklyn's violent past still linger, reminding the city of the challenges it has faced and the strength it took to survive them.
Video on Monday shows two people running down the sidewalk of New Utrecht Avenue. From there, you see two people following them, one of them holding what appears to be a machete.
Crown Heights. Crown Heights is a neighborhood in the central region of Brooklyn. The neighborhood is bounded by Washington Avenue to the west, Atlantic Avenue to the north, Ralph Avenue to the east, and Empire Boulevard to the south. With a population of approximately 107,301 residents. Crown Heights is served by two NYPD precincts, the 77th Precinct that covers Crown Heights North, while the 71st Precinct patrols Crown Heights South. Crown Heights North had a non-fatal assault rate of 85 per 100,000 people, and Crown Heights South had a rate of 73 per 100,000, both higher than the citywide average. Incarceration rates were also elevated, with 872 per 100,000 in Crown Heights North and 598 per 100,000 in Crown Heights South, surpassing the city's overall rate.
Police believe a deadly mass shooting at a lounge in Brooklyn stemmed from an argument between two men. Detectives have recovered grainy surveillance video from inside the Taste of the City lounge that captures the gunfight. In all, 3 people were killed, 11 others injured, and so far police have made no arrests. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson is live in Crown Heights with the very latest on the investigation. Kim.
Well, Liz, I want to show you what's happening right now. Those critical, very important crisis management teams that Mayor Adams talked about, they are here right now in this community. They have been since this shooting. They're meeting with the community, talking to folks who live here who have been through so much. Also here, detectives, they remain inside this lounge on Franklin Avenue, processing what is no doubt a very extensive crime scene. Police found and are analyzing 42 shell casings. Another very important key piece of evidence is security footage found inside this lounge. What went down seconds before people were seen running for their lives around 3:30 Sunday morning. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says 2 of the victims who were killed were suspects. They are 35-year-old Jamel Childs and 19-year-old Marvin St. Louis. Authorities say Childs belonged to an extremely violent gang, along with 3 of the victims who were hurt but survived. As early as this morning, people who were hurt were still walking into hospitals. The 3rd person killed has now been identified. That is 27-year-old Amadou Diallo, who authorities believe was an innocent bystander.
It was really crowded that day. It was really crowded. I think this is the crowdest I've ever seen it. It was really, and then people was outside. It was packed outside. Then it was coming in and out, in and out. I thought I was dreaming. I'm sitting on the stool. I heard a bow. I'm like, and I see people running. I said, oh my God, good thing my door was halfway open. My heart just jumped to my, you know what I mean? I was saying to myself, thank God they ain't shot outside, because I probably would have got hit.
Starting in the early 1900s, Crown Heights saw the construction of many upper-class homes, including its signature brownstones along Eastern Parkway, while lower-middle-class housing developed on the surrounding streets. This building boom peaked in the 1920s. Before World War II, the neighborhood was considered one of New York City's most desirable areas, known for its tree-lined streets, cultural institutions, parks, and a vibrant network of social and community organizations. From the 1920s through the 1960s, Crown Heights was largely Ashkenazi Jewish, mirroring broader city demographics of the time. By 1957, Crown Heights had about 25,000 black residents, or 1/4 of its population. As suburbanization accelerated through Robert Moses's expressway projects and the GI Bill, many Jewish, Irish, and Italian families left, while black migrants from the South and Caribbean immigrants moved in. The departure of the Brooklyn Dodgers and demolition of Ebbets Field for public housing marked the symbolic end of the old neighborhood. Rising poverty, crime, and racial tensions, especially between black and Jewish residents, plagued the neighborhood for decades, culminating into the 3-day outbreak known as the 1991 Crown Heights riots. In the 2000s, Crown Heights began to experience significant gentrification, fueled by its historic housing stock, proximity to Manhattan, and cultural resurgence. Young professionals, artists, and new businesses moved in, driving up property values and reshaping the area's identity. Today, Crown Heights is seen as both a community rich in Caribbean and Jewish heritage and a prime example of Brooklyn's gentrification, marked by revitalization. Crown Heights notable gangs and hoods. L Block/Franklin Avenue family. Franklin Avenue family and Lincoln Place of Crown Heights. Affiliations include Gorilla Stone Bloods aka Gorilla Stone Apes and Gangster Bloods. AMG. Albany Houses of Crown Heights. Albany Money Gang aka Always Maintain Greatness. Affiliations include Primetime Brims. Boroughside. Kingsborough Houses of Crown Heights home to Boroughside. Affiliations include Primetime Brims and Mac Ballas. Bedford-Stuyvesant, aka Bed-Stuy. Bed-Stuy is a neighborhood in northern Brooklyn. It is bordered by Flushing Avenue to the north, Classen Avenue to the west, Broadway to the east, and Atlantic Avenue to the south. The neighborhood has a population of approximately 177,040 residents. Bed-Stuy is served by 2 NYPD precincts. The 81st Precinct, which covers the eastern side of the neighborhood, while the 79th Precinct is responsible for the western side. Bed-Stuy's overall crime rate is about 75% higher than the national average, and violent crime sits at around 234% above the national average, leaving residents with a 1 in 25 chance of becoming a victim.
It was a wild afternoon in Bed-Stuy. Gunfire followed by car crashes, ending with 4 people getting shot, 2 of them in critical condition. CBS 2's Naveen Dhaliwal is in Brooklyn tonight.
Evidence markers lay in the middle of Marcus Garvey Boulevard after police say 4 people were shot, 3 possible intended targets and 1 innocent bystander. The gunfire erupted just after 3:30 p.m. Police say the driver of a Hyundai Santa Fe saw 3 men in their 20s walking across the street. He got out of the vehicle and fired several rounds. Detectives say the shooter then jumped back in the vehicle with 3 others in it and drove off. The vehicle crashed into 2 other cars on Myrtle Avenue, and all 4 took off.
Once they hit me, they couldn't drive no more, so they get off the car and they started running this way.
3 of those 4 individuals from that Santa Fe were apprehended, and 1 is still outstanding.
Neighbors were shaken by the gunfire, especially this man who works at a senior center nearby.
I was in a Zoom conference. A couple of colleagues came in and said that we probably should be in lockdown. There had been a shooting outside.
Detectives say 2 of the victims are in critical condition. The 3rd is stable, and now the motive for the shooting is under investigation.
During the 1930s, the neighborhood underwent major demographic changes. The Great Depression and migration from the South and the Caribbean brought new black residents looking for work and new opportunities. World War II further accelerated this growth, as the Brooklyn Navy Yard created jobs that attracted black workers, while many Jewish and Italian residents moved to Long Island and New Jersey. By the late 1960s, Bed-Stuy and neighboring Ocean Hill together formed the largest black community in the United States. In 1967, Senator Robert F. Kennedy launched a study of urban poverty in Bed-Stuy, which at the time was the city's largest non-white community but received almost no federal aid. Out of this effort came the Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation, the first community development corporation in the nation. From the 1960s through the 1980s, poverty, unemployment, and crime rates soared, and Bed-Stuy became synonymous with urban decay. The heroin epidemic, followed by the crack epidemic of the 1980s and early 1990s, intensified these struggles, leading to record levels of violent crime. By the early 1990s, the neighborhood had earned the nickname Do or Die Bed-Stuy, a reflection of the area's reputation for high crime and violence during one of New York City's most dangerous eras. The phrase captured both the struggles of daily survival and the resilience of a community determined to endure despite hardship. There's a long list of legends who have called Bed-Stuy home. Here are a few notable residents of the neighborhood. MC, producer and actor Big Daddy Kane. Rapper, singer, and producer Mos Def. Grammy Award-winning rapper Lil' Kim. The Notorious B.I.G. Considered by many as one of the greatest of all time. Rapper and original member of Wu-Tang Clan, Old Dirty Bastard. Prolific rapper and freestyler Papoose. And platinum-selling, Grammy Award-winning rapper, businessman, and record executive, Jay-Z.
Niggas can't stop me with rumors, I'm too strong. All day, socks exploding, sweatpants, pockets bulging, holding it down on the corner of my block posing. My spot is rolling, drops the price of the cocaine. Drove the competition out, let the dough flow in. Cops is closing in, I could do the time, but what's really on my mind ain't no holes in the pants. I play the low end, try to make it hard to find me. Fed still trying to build the case since 93. Bring it back.
Beginning in the 2000s, the neighborhood began to experience gentrification. The two significant reasons for this were the affordable housing stock consisting of brownstone row houses located on quiet tree-lined streets, as well as a significant decrease of crime in the neighborhood. Many properties were renovated after the start of the 21st century, and new retailers began moving to the neighborhood. Although gentrification has reshaped Bed-Stuy in recent years, many sections of the neighborhood continue to struggle with high crime rates, leaving it marked as one of the more unsafe areas of New York City. Bed-Stuy notable gangs and hoods. Smurf Village. Smurf Village, also known as Treyway, is a subset of the Billies. Affiliations include Primetime Brims, Brevoort Houses of Bed-Stuy. Affiliations include two bands, 900, Bloodhound Brims, Gorilla Stone Bloods, Mac Ballas. Home to Grammy-nominated rapper, Fabulous. Marcy Projects of Bed-Stuy. Affiliations include Playboy Gangster Crips, Gorilla Stone Bloods, and Mac Balla Family. Home of Jay-Z. East New York. East New York is a residential neighborhood in eastern Brooklyn. It's bordered by the Cemetery Belt and Queens to the north, Queensboro Line to the east, Jamaica Bay to the south, and the Canarsie Line, Bay Ridge Branch Tracks, and Van Sinderen Avenue to the west. The neighborhood has an estimated population of around 190,021 residents. East New York is patrolled by the 75th Precinct of the NYPD. While total crime has decreased since the 1990s, it is still higher in East New York than in the rest of the city. In 2023, there were 24 homicides in the 75th Precinct, a rate of 25.8 per 100,000 population, versus a rate of 4.4 homicides per 100,000 population for New York City as a whole.
A double shooting in East New York leaves one man dead and another in the hospital. And News 12's Julia Burns is there with details that we're learning tonight. Julia?
Evidence markers lined the sidewalk near Sutter and Euclid Avenues after a shooting police say happened around 2:40 this afternoon. Sources say two relatives, both 20 years old, were shot in broad daylight.
I've been living here like 10 years, and I actually never really seen nothing like this.
Police say 20-year-old Darius Coles was shot in the chest and sadly died. Sources say the other victim, his relative, was shot in the leg and grazed by a bullet in the head, but is expected to be okay.
Investigators still here right now searching for answers as to what led up to this incident. But I spoke with residents in the area who tell me crime scenes like this are nothing new.
Things are changing and it's getting worse. So you just got to be careful in the street now, day or night. It's no special time.
In his 2003 book, How East New York Became a Ghetto, Walter Thabit, a city planner for East New York, described the neighborhood's shift from mostly Italian and Jewish working-class residents to primarily Puerto Rican and black residents. Thabit argued that landlords and real estate agents played a major role in East New York's decline. In the late 1950s, large numbers of Puerto Ricans began moving to New York City as unemployment in Puerto Rico reached 25% and the island neared poverty. Over the following decades, nearly all of the remaining white residents eventually left the neighborhood. East New York soon faced widespread arson and building fires, with many homes once occupied by Italian and Jewish families abandoned as crime rose and racial tensions deepened between white and non-white residents. Thabit also points out that the construction of public housing projects accelerated the neighborhood's decline, as many were poorly built by corrupt managers and contractors. He argues that city officials largely turned their backs on the community at a time when intervention might have made a difference. In 1993, East New York recorded 128 murders, setting a grim record for the highest number of killings ever reported in a single NYPD precinct. The area soon became known as the Killing Fields, a name popularized by journalist Stacey Horn in her hard-hitting book, The Killing Fields of East New York. In the book, Horn states that the roots of the neighborhood's collapse were not primarily street crime, but rather a white-collar conspiracy within the real estate industry, one that profited while dismantling what had once been an affordable community for working and middle-class families. The same year, New York City recorded nearly 2,000 murders, but East New York stood out as one of the deadliest areas. In this 5-square-mile neighborhood, children were often caught in the crossfire of gang violence. It wasn't just seen as the most dangerous part of New York City, it was regarded as one of the most dangerous places in the entire country. Notable residents of East New York include rapper AZ, rapper Uncle Murda, Emmy Award-winning actor Steve Buscemi, and mobster John Gotti. Best known for his role as the boss of the Gambino crime family. East New York has long carried the weight of crime and poverty. Though crime has declined significantly since its peak in the 1990s, the neighborhood still struggles with issues of poverty, unemployment, and limited economic opportunity. Public housing remains heavily concentrated here, and many residents face challenges tied to underfunded schools, lack of affordable housing, and systemic neglect. While community groups and local leaders continue to push for revitalization, East New York is still working to overcome decades of disinvestment and hardship. East New York notable gangs and hoods. Pink houses. East New York's Pink Houses, a housing project consisting of 20 8 to 10-story buildings. Affiliations include Mac Ballas, Weezy Gang, and 90 Gang. WAG. Wortman Avenue Gangsters, based around Wortman Avenue and the Linden Houses. Affiliations include Pound Way, Mac Balla Bloods, Gangster Crips, and Gorilla Stone Bloods. Brownsville. Brownsville is a residential neighborhood in eastern Brooklyn. It's bordered by Crown Heights to the northwest, Bed-Stuy and the subneighborhood of Ocean Hill to the north, East New York to the east, Canarsie to the south, and East Flatbush to the west. With an estimated population of around 96,217 residents. Patrolled by the 73rd Precinct of the NYPD, Brownsville has often been referred to as the murder capital of New York, a title backed by years of data and grim headlines. According to DNA Info's Crime and Safety Report, Brownsville has historically recorded the highest number of murders in all of New York City, earning a reputation as one of Brooklyn's most dangerous neighborhoods. This reputation is rooted in its long history of homicides, drug-related deaths, and violent crime. Brownsville's murder rate has been nearly 4 times higher than the citywide average. Statistically, the chances of becoming a crime victim here are about 1 in 36. The violent crime rate stands at 1,264 per 100,000 people, while the overall crime rate reaches 2,810 per 100,000. The New York Department of Health and Mental Hygiene has also noted that assault-related hospitalizations in Brownsville are far above the national average.
Breaking news out of Brooklyn, where a police-involved shooting happened early this morning. Officers shot and killed a suspect who they say tried to push his way into a police precinct when he was caught. That's when things escalated. Police held a press conference just moments ago. Let's get straight out to Eyewitness News reporter Jaysha Patel with the latest from Brownsville. Jaysha, what do you know?
Good morning. Well, we just learned some new details just a couple of minutes ago. We're standing outside of the 73rd precinct. You might be able to see the front door there right behind me. Well, we learned that a man tried to enter the precinct through the front door. He realized it was locked and he walked to the back of the precinct where it clearly says that unauthorized personnel are not allowed back there. He tried to enter the precinct through the back door, and an NYPD officer, a female officer, tried to stop him. But that's when he took a butcher knife out and slashed her in the face. Another officer tried to tase that man, but it didn't work, and he ran away. Multiple officers chased after him for a couple of blocks and told him to drop his weapon, but he refused and lunged at an officer, which is when that man was shot multiple times, and he has died. This is video of the scene from earlier this morning. You can see just how big that police presence was on scene after that shooting happened just after 5:30 this morning. A butcher knife was recovered from the scene. It was laying in the middle of the road, along with many shell casings from that shooting. And the area around the scene had been blocked off at Saratoga Avenue and Park Place, which is about a block away from where we are right now at the precinct. Police say that they do have the attack on surveillance video, but it's unclear if they're going to release the footage at this time. They also have a picture of that weapon they are going to be releasing soon on social media. We all do know that 2 other officers are being treated for ringing in their ears from when that shooting happened. But back out here live, the good news is we do know that female NYPD officer who was slashed in the face, she is expected to be okay.
From the 1880s through the 1950s, Brownsville was largely a Jewish neighborhood. By 1900, its population had grown to about 25,000, with most residents living in small 2-story wooden houses originally designed for 2 families. Overcrowding was common, and in some cases as many as 8 families were crammed into the single 2-family homes. In the 1930s, Brownsville gained notoriety as the birthplace of Murder, Inc., a criminal syndicate responsible for an estimated 400 to 1,000 contract killings through the 1940s. Their operations spread into neighboring Ocean Hill and East New York. The members mainly consisted of Jewish and Italian Americans. A film about the criminal syndicate was produced and released in 1960. The organization's name, Murder, Inc., was also the inspiration for the hip-hop and R&B label, Murder, Inc. Records. Founded by brothers and record executives Chris and Irv Gotti in 1999. During the 1950s, Brownsville experienced a significant demographic shift as large numbers of black residents moved into the neighborhood. From the late 20th century onward, Brownsville has consistently ranked among the New York City neighborhoods with the highest levels of poverty and crime. Brownsville is heavily defined by its concentration of public housing, much of it clustered within a compact area bordered by Powell Street, Rockaway Avenue, and Livonia and Sutter Avenues. This section consists of multiple inward-facing complexes built across 6 superblocks and represents the highest concentration of public housing in the entire United States. The New York City Housing Authority manages more units in Brownsville than in any other neighborhood, with roughly 1/3 of the local housing stock, about 10,000 units, spread across 18 developments and more than 100 buildings within just 1 square mile. Notable residents of Brownsville include TV and radio host presenter Larry King, rapper, producer, actor, and filmmaker RZA, Mike Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion ever, and Umberto Albert Anastasia, an Italian-American mobster, hitman, and crime boss who was one of the founding figures of the modern American Mafia, and later rose to power as a co-founder and eventual leader of Murder, Inc. With an incarceration rate of 1,698 per 100,000 residents, Brownsville's incarceration rate is 3 times more than the city's as a whole, and higher than every other neighborhood's incarceration rate in NYC. Brownsville has significantly high dropout rates in its schools. The neighborhood also has one of the highest concentrations of persistently violent schools of any area in New York State. with 5 such schools in Brownsville and East New York on the 2015 to 2016 list of most dangerous schools. Students must pass through metal detectors and swipe ID cards to enter the buildings. Brownsville has the second highest rate of student homelessness in Brooklyn. It also has the highest rate of elementary school student absenteeism in New York City, with 39% of elementary school students missing 20 or more days per school year. Brownsville notable gangs and hoods. Marcus Garvey projects. Marcus Garvey houses of Brownsville. Affiliations include Cho, Top Gun Crips, and Hood Stars. Van Dyke. Van Dyke houses of Brownsville. Affiliations include Young and Wild and Hustling, Brothers Over Everything, and Brims. Brownsville houses. Affiliations include 1800 Bully Gang, a subset of Gorilla Stone Bloods, also a part of the Wu Alliance, or We on Our Own. OMB, Only My Brothers, and FOA, Family Overall.